When the great polar gates of the Old Ones collapsed, a permanent tear in reality was created, a gateway to the warp. Within this alternate dimension of pure energy, four great beings of immense power fed on the thoughts, emotions, and actions of mortals. Collectively, they are known as the Dark Brothers, the Ruinous Powers, or simply the Gods of Chaos. Karn, the Blood God, is the personification of murder, violence, and rage. Within his realm, Karn sits upon a great throne of brass, which itself rests upon a mountain of skulls, surrounded by rivers of blood. The skulls and blood that adorn his brass tower come not only from the victims of his champions, but also from these very same devotees of the Blood God. For the Lord of Murder cares not from whence the blood flows, only that it does. Being the patron god of warfare, Karn's followers are natural warriors, with an insatiable appetite for battle. Their bloodlust driving them into berserk fury, charging headfirst into the thick of battle, for the Blood God will expect and accept nothing less than total commitment to the art of slaughter. Tzeentch, the great conspirator, is the god of magic, change, and lies. Within his realm, the Crystal Labyrinth, Tzeentch sits forever, plotting and scheming, his plans constantly bearing fruit, only to mysteriously collapse in on themselves, for the true goals of the Raven God are unknowable. The Changer of Ways is a fitting title for a deity whose mind and body are constantly in a state of flux. His realm is much the same, a never-ending and an ever-changing maze of crystal that only the strongest minds could ever hope to navigate. As the god of magic and knowledge, the followers of Tzeentch are potent sorcerers, cunning liars, and brilliant strategists. The Lord of Change is pragmatic, however, and will demand physical strength as well as mental strength, making champions of Tzeentch truly deadly opponents. Slaanesh, the Dark Prince, is the embodiment of decadence, hedonism, and debauchery. Although considered the weakest amongst the Chaos Gods in terms of raw power, the potent corruptibility of the Prince of Pleasure's influence has allowed his servants to infiltrate deeper into civilized society than any of his brothers. Whereas Karn and Tzeentch draw their power from bloodlust and deceit respectively, the Lord of Excess draws his power from the pleasure a mortal feels when they perform an action. Within the warp stands the Palace of Pleasure, the domain of Slaanesh, a great pavilion filled with every vice and temptation that can be imagined, and raised to the greatest level of decadence. From this palace of debauchery, Slaanesh gazes into the mortal world, reveling in the excess of his devoted. Those who follow the Prince of Pleasure form secret cults in the heart of civilization, and come from a diverse number of backgrounds and professions. Some are artists obsessed with the brush and canvas. Some are musicians who labor ceaselessly in their craft. Others are simple hedonists who revel in the pleasures of the flesh. Even the champions of other gods have fallen under the sway of Slaanesh. A Karn berserker's love of battle, and a schemer of Tzeentch who takes joy in manipulation, are prime targets for the Dark Prince's influence. Regardless of who they are, a worshipper of Slaanesh will always find their senses dulled, with only the most unthinkable and depraved acts able to satisfy them and their patron deity. Nurgle, the Plague Lord, is the god of life, decay, and death. Within the putrid, disease-ridden swamp known as Nurgle's Garden, the Lord of Decay toils before a great cauldron. His bloated, maggot-infested form excitedly brews a batch of new diseases. Should he be pleased with this brew, Nurgle will pour the broth into the mortal world, sharing his gift of pestilence. If not, he will consume it, and vomit the contents back into the cauldron to start again. Unlike the followers of other gods, most mortals do not come to worship Nurgle willingly. Instead, they beseech him to rid them of the misery caused by his so-called gifts. The Plague Lord interprets these desperate prayers not as the wailings of agony, but as joyous praise to the Lord of Decay, to which Nurgle concedes even more gifts, but filling them with a sense of delusional euphoria. Unlike his brothers, Nurgle genuinely cares for his mortal followers, considering them his children. His followers in turn endlessly sing the praises of Grandfather Nurgle, even as disease rots their bodies from within.